All right, guys. So let's talk about this spy balloon. All right. Uh, I'll agree. It is really bizarre. All right. And as a matter of fact, I heard recently that there was another one. Okay. So once we talk about this for a few minutes, then we're gonna go and react to a SNL sketch about the balloon. Have not seen it yet. All right.
A suspected Chinese spy balloon on the move across the U.S. The Pentagon saying the balloon, roughly the size of 2 school buses, is moving east over the central U.S. Chinese officials disputing that it's a spy balloon, what they claim it is. The diplomatic fallout, Secretary of State Antony Blinken postponing a trip to Beijing next week, and why the military hasn't shut it down.
And that right there is why I wanted to start here and discuss why they haven't shot this thing down. I watched a video for Mises, right? And what he was talking about was he wished he had a gun that could reach this thing so he could shoot it down. That is not a good idea, all right? Um, and once you hear the reasoning as to why our military has not done that yet, you should start to understand why it is really not a good idea for anyone to find something that could reach this thing and shoot it down. All right. Uh, to put it simply, don't do that unless you are willing to suffer the consequences if things go bad. All right. Um, I would hate for someone who was just wanting to do the right thing and to help, all right, to be on the news the next day saying that they were sorry, that they had no idea what was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, let me see if I can find a clip of something that's going to perfectly illustrate before he says it as to why they have not acted yet.
Now, I didn't know what it was, so I didn't say nothing. My friend got out of the car. He's like, yo, what the hell is that? I was like, I don't know. It's like a big pigeon or something. I didn't know what it was, right? He was like, that ain't no pigeon. He took an ink pen, threw the pin at it. When he threw the pin at the ostrich, he hit the ostrich in the chest. As soon as he hit the ostrich in the chest, his other leg came down. His body was still facing this way, but his head was still like this. I was like, you know what? We should probably go get in the car because we don't really know what that means. You know, like that could be a sign. That could mean like you got 10 seconds to get out my face before I kill you. I'm gonna eat your kids. We don't know what he's trying to say, so let's just get in the car where we safe at. So we get in the car, I start laughing. I'm like, ah, you was scared, man. He's like, no, you was scared. I'm like, no, you was scared. No, you was. I'm driving like 30 miles per hour. I look out the passenger window. The ostrich was running 30 miles per hour beside the car. His body was still facing this way, but his head was like this. And he was haul-assing at 30 miles per hour. Now, when I'm scared, like if I'm real scared, sir, I'll start to cry. Only if I'm real scared. So I was like, why would you throw a pin at it if we don't even know what it is?
Simple as that. Now, do you understand? Why would you throw a pin at it if you don't even know what it is? Okay? We don't know what that balloon is. There's speculation, uh, but, you know, you definitely don't know. Our military might, they have a lot better insight than what we have. All right? They have a way of communicating with China and asking China, if you're telling me this isn't a spy balloon, it's not malicious or anything like that, then explain how it got there. Explain how this is in our territory now. Explain yourself. You know what I'm saying? Who's responsible for this? Like, this isn't allowed, right? Um, even if someone were to shoot this thing down and nothing bad happens, if they figure out who it was that intervened and shot this thing down, you could still be charged criminally. All right? Um, for the simple fact that we don't know what it is. If the White House comes across in a press conference or something and says, "We know what it is, someone go shoot this thing down," then, like, by all means, you got the go ahead from the White House. All right? But until then, we have to hope that our government is doing what is necessary. And Mises wants to put the blame on Biden. If this was Trump, that thing would have been in ashes already. You don't know that. Because you have to remember, he is under guidance from Homeland Security, from all kinds of different people who is giving him their advice. What they think the best thing to do, the best response at this point in time. All right? So just because he is not acting does not mean that he's not listening to the generals and Homeland Security and everybody else. It doesn't mean that. It could mean that they're telling him this is not a good idea. We don't know what it is yet. All right? Just to make it perfectly clear as to why I think they're not shooting this thing down and why they haven't shot it down already. I don't know if this thing is still out there flying around, but what I'm saying is that there is all kinds of things that could be loaded into that balloon. All right. Imagine if there's explosives in there. All right. Imagine if there's chemicals in there that is like a Trojan horse. It looks harmless on the surface, but it's really put there to like egg us on and waiting for, okay, someone is going to end up taking this thing down. And when they do, that's when all hell's going to break loose. All right. Is that to say that's for sure what it is? No. Is that to say it's definitely a spy balloon? No. Is that to say, that's not to say anything. This is speculation. That speculation is why I think we haven't acted yet. So I think we should stop rushing to judgment on every single decision that our country makes and just saying, oh, if it was under this president, it would have been different. If it was this president, that would have been different. You don't know. You are not there running our country. If you were, I would pay a lot more attention to what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? That's not a diss on Mises. He has the right to his opinion. But what I'm saying is, we should be a lot more careful when we're talking about interfering with decisions that our country is making when it comes to issues like this. All right. That's not to say we can't, say, oh, they should do this, they should do that, whatever else. That's fine. But we shouldn't be saying, oh, if anyone has an opportunity to take this thing down, go for it. No, we should not be talking that way. You have no idea what's in that balloon.
Yesterday, its journey potentially taking it near sensitive military sites. The White House considering and for now rejecting a plan to shoot down the balloon fearing collateral damage from falling debris. Still, some lawmakers tonight urging a more aggressive response. The Pentagon is tight-lipped about the balloon's capabilities, saying only it does not present a military or physical threat to people on the ground. Courtney Cubey begins our coverage from the Pentagon.
You know, and we got to take that with a grain of salt at the same time. They could know a lot more than what they're telling us. Because remember, they don't want us to panic. You know what I'm saying? The fact that it does have a potential, and they are moving stuff around to get it out of the way, out of the path of this thing, so it's not going to see anything that it shouldn't be. Now, here's what I'm looking at. This is not a hot air balloon, as I was thinking it was, because I had watched this, but I wasn't really paying attention. This is just a big balloon. How much spy equipment could you fit in a balloon like that? And what else would be its purpose? So it obviously has helium in it, or else it wouldn't be floating. But there's obviously some weight to it also, or else it would just take off and go. You know what I'm saying? So this is very suspicious. And I think what they're concerned about is chemicals. So now that I'm looking at it, I don't really think it would be explosives. I think explosives would weigh it down way too much in order for it to make a huge difference. You know what I'm saying? Like a big enough amount of explosives in that thing, and it wouldn't go anywhere. All right. So I don't think it's going to be explosives. What it could be, though, is chemicals. And that is actually even scarier than explosives. Reason being, like I said, the amount of explosives you would need to put in a balloon like that, it wouldn't go anywhere. All right, so I don't think that's what it is. I think they're concerned about chemicals. All right. That is something that no one should be just going out there and trying to take shots at it. So bear that in mind. If in this case and any other case that might happen similar to it, if you're going to go and take a shot at something because it looks suspicious, be fully prepared that you could be doing something that cannot be undone. We could see you on the news the next day, and you could be apologizing for a lot of people being harmed, which wouldn't be your intention, obviously. But at the same time, you made the decision to take it into your hands to act. All right. So if you're going to decide to do something like that, I would say be careful. All right. Don't just go taking random shots at stuff because you think that's the best thing to do. All right. Because you could be held responsible. And even if you're not, like let's say you shoot this thing down and it has something dangerous in it, and they never find out that it was you that shot it down, you're going to have to live with that on your conscience for the rest of your life. All right. So think twice before you go doing stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now, let's go ahead and see what SNL has to say about this. This is crazy. All right. Let's go, SNL.
It's good to be with you. I'm Katie Tur, and tonight our long national nightmare is over. We got the balloon. The discovery of the massive surveillance balloon earlier this week inflamed already volatile U.S.-Chinese relations.
So I wonder if that's actually accurate, that they did in fact shoot it down.
And had many on the right calling the Biden administration's response soft, including this tweet from Donald Trump Jr. saying, if my...
We were just talking about that, and I'm glad they addressed it, and I already addressed it. You know what I'm saying? Look, you guys got mad at Biden for not having a strategy when we pulled out of Afghanistan. Now we have a strategy when we're dealing with something that could be very, very dangerous. Now you want to get mad because he didn't act quick enough. It doesn't make any sense. All right? To put it in the simplest way, as long as that thing was up there floating around, the danger was not very high. All right. However, as soon as you intervene and you shoot that thing down, all that goes out the window. Now, anything could really happen. Like, you have no idea what's going to happen once you push that button. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why they were being cautious. So I think what they were doing here is that they were saying, let's wait. Let's find out as much as we can before we take any actions that could cause a lot of harm and destruction.
Dad was president, there would be no balloons. And this one from Marjorie Taylor Greene saying, look, it's the real moon. For more details, I'm honored to be joined tonight by Pentagon official and aviation expert, General William Hamilton.
Thank you for having me.
Congratulations, General, on your successful mission.
Thank you. We popped the balloon.
General, we've never seen an object like this gain entry into our airspace before. How did that happen?
That's an excellent question, Katie. The balloon was somehow able to get past our West Coast anti-balloon defense system, the Seattle Space Needle.
Okay. Hey.
But
if we didn't have one before, we will probably have one now.
Once it was here, we were able to keep an eye on it with our sophisticated tracking technology of going like this.
Right?
Understood.
I know there were questions about why we didn't shoot it down immediately, but we wanted to wait till it was over the coast so that it wouldn't fall on people or go and land on my car.
But, so apparently, you know, a lot of times SNL, you know, they spin the truth, they spin the facts in order to make it funny. But they are usually based somewhat in fact of what actually happened. So it looks like what might have happened was that they waited until it was over the coast, over nothing but water, and that's when they decided to shoot it down. Okay? Now, that is a really smart move. Reason being, like what I said before, what if it was filled with chemicals, with things that were meant to cause a lot of harm and destruction? We would not want that, especially anywhere near a town or city. Okay? You would not want them to take a chance and shoot that thing down right above your house, right? So we just gotta think about things a little bit better, right?
It looked like it was a very exciting operation. Can you take us through it?
Well, I did bring a 3D rendering of the enemy target.
Okay.
Now, imagine this is a lot bigger, but then pretty far away, it looks a lot smaller too.
And now, that was gathering intel. Was it taking pictures?
We don't know, but I do know if you tap it, it plays music.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Well, General, thank you so much for your heroism and for protecting our nation.
Thank you, Mrs. Turk. And I want everyone to know that we will not tolerate any form of Chinese spying. But to be honest, they already have everything they need from TikTok, so scroll away, kids.
Thank you.
Oh, man. The other thing here, since we have apparently, I'm just figuring that they've actually shot it down, assuming that's true. Of course, with it being SNL, you never know. All right, so for the time being, let's just assume that we have shot it down. If it was a spy balloon, I'm pretty sure they would have seen, some suspicious things within it as it was coming down. All right. And it didn't look like there was anything in it. There was, however, quite a huge cloud of smoke. Now, that could have been just the helium. But then I wonder if this was a big balloon that was just helium and nothing else, then why did it exist in the first place? What would have been the purpose of such a balloon? All right. And one of the theories I could easily come up with is a test run, just to gauge our response. All right. It's kind of makes you wonder, are they planning on something? Let's hope not. All right. Because if they are, then we may get to a point where they're going to have to start being prepared to make sure that, we're not going to let anything else come into our borders like that and not be ready to take action. All right. So if that were to actually become a problem, what I would do is get a helicopter with a huge net. All right. And you could probably already see where I'm going with this. I'm talking about a huge freaking net. All right. You fly the helicopter, have the net to where it's going to grab the balloon and pull it over the ocean. That is when we're going to let the balloon go, and then we'll do with it whatever we need to do. All right. Whether it's taking the helicopter, far, far away and then hit it with a sniper rifle, something. You know what I'm saying? But even then, like, that's not even really a good idea, because what if there is toxic chemicals in there? We don't want that getting into our oceans. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a good thing either. So I think we should probably have some facilities built that are prepared for such an event. So where we can take that balloon, we can take it to a secure location, we can pop that balloon, and whatever comes out of it, like, is it going to hurt the environment? All right, it's going to go into the water, and it's going to land on somebody's house, and then have some angry phone calls. You know what I'm saying? There were some nasty chemicals. You guys popped this balloon and it went all over my house. All right. I would be pretty upset about that. You know what I'm saying?
General, and this is exciting. I'm getting word we have located the remains of the balloon, and I'm told we have a live feed. Let's see how it looks.
Uh-oh. Let me guess. Why did you pop me, right?
Congrats, you shot a balloon.
Wow, balloon. Well, I'm sorry you're in the water, but thank you for speaking to us.
I entertain you people for 4 days and then get shot by Biden? Can't believe I'm Joe's Osama.
But now, I have to ask, what were you doing flying over
Right.
Montana?
I love the show Yellowstone, so it was just there. It's like Succession, but outside. Now I'm all wet, so what a day.
Well, I'm actually surprised you're still floating. Experts were saying you're the size of 3 buses.
Okay, ouch. I'm a balloon, so that's my body. How would you like
That's
if
a big
someone measured
balloon.
your width in buses? I'm sorry I'm not camera ready, and oh, great, who's this? No, dude, no, no, get away, go. God, I hate the ocean. I'm really more of an air guy.
Look, I'm sorry, but people were worried they were being spied on.
By me, a balloon? Everyone's being surveilled constantly, but it's always shoot the balloon and never unplug Alexa.
Right.
If you care so much about your data, why do you all keep your bank passwords in the Notes app? Okay? You mail your literal DNA to a company to find out if you're like 10% French. But je suis just a balloon.
Well, now the concern was that you were taking sensitive images of the U.S.
No, I was so far away. It's like when your aunt takes a concert video on her iPad, and you're like, I guess that's Michael Bublé. I couldn't even tell what I was looking at from up there. Like, frankly, I thought the state lines would be like drawn out. I thought I would see words over the places.
Well, we just did what we had to do to protect the security of our country.
Oh, why? Is everyone freaking out because I'm a Chinese balloon? Because where I come from, I'm just a balloon.
Well, thanks for speaking with us today, and we're sorry for how everything had to go down.
Oh, Katie, don't do that. You've made it very clear that I'm not welcome here, so good job. But let me tell you something. You're gonna miss this Chinese spy balloon. I mean normal balloon, damn it. Well, whatever, you already have your data. And live from New York, it's Saturday night!
Oh man, y'all. Saturday Night Live. SNL. They are almost always funny. All right, I absolutely love this show. Y'all let me know what y'all think, but hopefully, some of you guys can at least start to understand now why my point of view is that it was the right call to make, to say, let's not shoot this thing down without taking some precautions first. All right. Let's just imagine for a second that there was a bomb in there, or that it had a bunch of gunpowder in it. All right. You shoot that, it creates a huge explosion over a city. Like, you can't do that without without knowing for sure what it is you're shooting down. You know what I'm saying? So it's understandable why they took precautions. Now, they really could have put together a helicopter with a huge net and pulled this thing out of the city over the ocean, shot it down, and been done with it. That's what I would have done. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that idea. All right. That's it for now, y'all.